Oh, yeah. Let's just go live. There we go.
Where do I put this? Fun stuff. That's where I put this.
Nope, nope, nope. Close that.
Ooh, my PD just sent me a VT. Let's see how shitty it sounds. It's for Tirana.
For Tirana?
Tyrannosaurus Rex. Ha!
We're live.
We is live. We is live.
It's the final.
Holy crap. It's the final day.
It's a freaking Leon's tag. That's the funny thing. It's not even like that big of a deal.
All right, we zero in. I think everyone was waiting. Oh, no, it's 5:10. Look at that. We're on time. For some reason, I'm getting your, I'm coming through your speakers.
I know,
too.
because I haven't. Let me just check something here first before.
All right.
Do wait. Get Black Friday specials now on select TVs and make.
Okay. As we were.
Better.
Yep.
Concurrent viewers, 0.
Fuck you, Adobe. That's funny because I'm not even in
Oh,
there yet.
privacy unlisted. Edit.
Yeah, that could be a problem. that might be a problem right there, bud.
Public. Why would it be unlisted?
You want to like unlive and then like relive?
No. Can you
GT.
unlive?
Well, it's like kill the stream and then like change it and then start a new stream because I don't. It
Why
might not.
was it private of all things? I guess I got to check that setting when I set
You
it
doing
up,
some
eh?
late night booty call on YouTube Live?
Oh yeah.
Them sweet YouTube Live fucking sex calls. Love
Oh, gross.
it.
Gross.
No, I wonder if it was private. Well, actually, I guess you can't do a YouTube Live that's private.
Midnight
I guess-
Wolf, what's up? No, you can. You just unlisted or whatever.
But can you make one that's private or only unlisted or public?
You
Because
can make
private's the
that's-
one that is like invite only.
Yeah, I think you can make a private one. I think I.
Because
saw
I
the
wonder if anyone's
option
ever
for it.
tried that, like to do like a. And I wonder if Google would quash it. Like I wonder if their same algorithms, if it was a private thing, would jump in and.
I'm sure it is. Although setting stuff to private, I believe it doesn't even bother with it. I'm not exactly sure. How's it going, Midnight Wolf?
Today's the 12th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jan, welcome. It's all the members coming in first. Love to see
Somebody
it.
sent me a VT, friggin'
Voice chat?
228 kilobit file, and I'm gonna punch them.
Dan. Literally all of the
All
the
the
members
regulars?
jumping in. Yeah.
Woo!
Welcome, guys. How's it going? I've actually got a treat this week. I'm trying out an Antelope Audio. Their Edge Solo. It's actually a really cool modeling microphone. It's for models. That's what that means. It's only models can use it. That's why I'm using it.
100%.
Totally
funny
a
fucker.
model. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you
Foot
don't,
model, or-
What? You don't think hand? I've
Hand
got-
model. Yeah, glove model.
Yeah, sausage fingers, right? They're
Those Scottish
Yeah.
Scottish digits.
the Scottish digits.
Digits, mate.
No, I got the Antelope Audio Zen Go package. And this is one of those where the company's like, hey, do you want to keep it? Like, would you like to keep it? And I'm like, it doesn't really, like, when I looked at the specs, I'm like, it's not really going to complement my outfit. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. And now I totally want to keep it.
Why? Let's go with the reasons.
The modeling mic is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The all of the plugins you get with it are fantastic. So like just tons of stuff that come with it. Just go take a look if you're interested. It's phenomenal. Midnight Wolf, pretty good. Trying to figure out my new Boss WL30 XLR wireless XLR to see if it'll work for me. So, curious, man, why do you, I don't know what your name is, but Midnight Wolf, why do you need to use wireless? Is it, what are you doing with that?
I'm going to guess some kind of video context. It seems likely.
Well, why do you need wireless for video, though?
Okay, wires out of the way.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, who cares? I can
Some
see
people
for
do.
live purposes, I can see wanting to have wireless.
Yeah, live and video are really the only two purposes that you would want wireless.
Pretty much.
In fact, most studios are Wireless is to recording studio as garlic is to vampires. It's like, no. no rogue airwaves screwing with the gear.
Yeah, no kidding. Speakers. For speakers. Wow.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I guess if you have like a big room and you're like trying to spread
Yeah.
speakers up, but you don't want to run a bunch of cables across the floor like permanently.
Well, it depends on how good the transmitter and receiver
Exactly. And how bad, like if it's a digital transmitter, how bad latency would be.
are. Yeah.
And digital is usually better. I mean, I have actually a wireless TRS patch, and it's a Samsung, and it's analog UHF. the fidelity, it's instantaneous, like 0 latency, 0 milliseconds latency. But like, my lord, is the quality of fidelity is horrible and susceptible to interference.
Yeah. Hint of shrimp. Sorry to hear that, buddy. That said, if you have YouTube Music, you can actually just play us in the background over your whatever phone or whatever while you're driving, and yeah, it'll play on the background, so you don't have to worry about all the data and stuff like that.
I have a stupid story.
Oh no,
that happened to me like 20 minutes ago. So I'm at the grocery store buying some stuff. I'm wearing like station swag coat, station swag hat. I have cloth bags, groceries that are station swag grocery bags. And the guy at the store comes up to me, he's like, "Hey man, you work here?" and I like turn around and I'm just kind of like, no. Do I look like I work here? He's like, "Well, you're wearing like company stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, not this company."
Yeah.
Jesus.
Slightly different company.
Stop sniffing the gas, bro.
Do you want me to show you where the noodle is? Yeah, I can't have folks tripping on speaker wires. No kidding. Yeah, so also another thing, I got a Lewitt LCT 440.
Nice.
That's I just got it in the mail today. I end up, so I use an email from my work on the radio, and every once in a while somebody will
you got to say like on the radio.
Somebody will send me something.
Yeah.
But they'll just use my work address. The problem is I work from home for the past year and a half.
Yeah.
So I keep getting all these like, your package has been delivered. I'm like, what package? Where? And so I actually called UPS out on Twitter, and they tracked it down at my old work. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Sorry I called you out on Twitter. But yeah, so I got the Lewitt LCT 440. I've got this puppy on the way. Also, I did the 102 versus 103 video coming up this Monday. Which one do you prefer? Which one?
I like the 102.
You prefer the 102?
Yeah, I like the 102.
I do as well, especially on my voice. And I do notice that the S's on the 103 are a bit harsh for me because it's got that presence boost at
The 102
5.
softens things up a little bit. Honestly, they're both amazing mics. There's no, but if you're like honestly comparing them is kind of splitting hairs in a sense. But like, if I had to pick one of them that I would purchase tomorrow, it'd be the 102.
See, I've been hearing that from a lot more people. VO guys want their 103. VO guys are like, no, 103 all the way. But the 102 actually has more natural sound because it doesn't have as much of a boost in the mids to the highs. I mean,
in general, compared to a lot of like LDC counterparts, like, you know, a 414 or a U87, both of them just right off the bat sound more natural because there's less circuitry in line between the capsule and the output.
Yeah,
which is helpful. I mean, that's one of the things that pencil mics have in their favor a lot of the time is pencil mics are like, if you want something that sounds like exactly like zero color at all, like Earthworks or any pencil mic really.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into the pencil mic.
Get an NT5. Get Rode to send you an NT5.
Rode has been interesting. I'm thinking about just hooking up with a supplier here because I got a contact at Rode who's fantastic, and I just told him, I'm like, give me a Rodecaster Pro. I want to be able. So they sent me some of the Rode, the small USB mics, and I'm like, gee, thanks. But I don't want that. I want a Rodecaster Pro. I don't have one. I would like to do the updates for it and do comparison videos without having to go borrow it. Yeah. He's like, yeah, no problem. And then he messages me about 3 weeks later saying, I got some extra treats for you on the way. I'm like, oh, cool. And so he sent me a Rode cover. You know the dust cover you can buy for the Rode?
No, but
Rodecaster
sure.
Pro. It's literally like this large plastic cover for the Rodecaster Pro. I don't
like a
need
barbecue cover.
that.
Like a
Basically,
barbecue
I'm
cover.
like, I don't even have a Rodecaster Pro, and he sent me all these, like a bunch of like 1/4 inch to, the 3/8, not 3/8, the 1/4 inch to the what's the little, and I keep getting messages here. Hey, 1 second, let's mute that. So yeah, I got a bunch of like little add-ons for it, which cute, I guess, but I don't need that. So I don't know if Rode's going to be sending me anything. I'm not asking for anything more. So maybe you're a bit of a contrarian. 102 versus 103, XLS versus XL2,
See,
bucking the crowd.
It's interesting, that word. That's the contrarian word. It's like the 5th time this week that and I'm assuming he's talking to you, but like,
Yeah.
I've been accused of that. And like, I'm not a contrarian, but at the same time, I will not let public opinion skew my preference. Just because a bunch of people like something doesn't mean it's going to be right for me. That said, there are a ton of things that a bunch of people like that also happen to work for me.
Yeah, and that's
But-
the thing. Like, I feel like when I make my decision on the 102 versus the 103, it's based on the mids and the high boost.
And how it sounds on you.
Yeah,
voice.
and it's my voice.
Did you get Mrs. Dark Corner involved on this?
No,
one?
I didn't get her. in
Oh,
on
you
it.
should have. You
no,
should have. That would have been good.
Yeah, I don't. It's trying to utilize that, but also not burn it out. So, like, I'm gonna get Ms. Dark Corner.
I think in that context, it would have been interesting to see if this, the same mic that's flattering for you that softens things up a little bit would have sounded maybe a little bit more dull with Mrs. Dark Corner.
Yeah, actually, that might be a thought. It's not going to live till Monday. Maybe I'll look into that.
Like maybe try it. Like actually try it, record it, and if there's not a major difference, then scrap it. If there is a major difference, maybe we include it.
Dan says, I'm joking, by the way. Yeah, no, we get it.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
XLS versus the XL2, I've never used the
Bucking the
XL2.
crowd.
I don't actually... yeah.
There's a few. There's like, honestly, the 414 lineup annoys me because there's so many like little, like they've had like anniversary editions and all
Yeah.
this stuff. It's like, well, it's like Neumann with the U87 Rhodium, which I almost ended up buying because at the time it was actually cheaper than the non-Rhodium, which
Nice.
made no sense because they're identical, other than the fact the Rhodium's made of rhodium. But yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know which one I prefer. I've only ever used the XL2s.
Okay.
Uh,
Gear Junkie, happy Friday to you. Gear
Howdy.
Junkie wants to know, for re-recording and reamping dry guitar tracks, do I need an interface with more than 2 in, 2 out? I have a 2 in, 2 out and a 6 in, 4 out. So that's up to you, Dylan.
Okay. So reamping. So when we talk about reamping, are we talking about running through an amp sim, like a plugin, basically? Or are we talking about actually recording DI and then sending it through an amp and recording it through an actual amp?
I'm
'Cause
guessing using a sim and a mic on the amp. So you're
a sim.
you would
and a
need
mic?
an out to the amp. No, wait. To reamp, you'd need a mic on the cab, right?
Because reamping, it's usually assumed that like you're recording
Into the computer.
in instance number one.
Yes.
Because there's 2 instances. In instance number 1, the first pass, you're recording the parts through an amp, and at the same time you have a DI box
Yeah.
splitting off so you can record just the out of the guitar. And then in instance 2, you're obviously it's assumed that you're unhappy with the initial amp recording, and then you take your DI from your DAW out from the DAW, use a reamp box, send it into the amp, mic a different amp or whatever, or
Yeah.
using an amp sim.
Yeah. Gear Junkie says, appreciate the input, guys. Record dry, back to guitar pedal, back to amp.
Okay, so if you're doing that, there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually very commonly done, especially in metal. You're going to want a reamp box, and a good quality one, because reamp boxes, as far as the quality of how the sound of your... Well, it also depends if it's a good guitar, too. Like, if you're reamping a PRS, get a good reamp box.
Yeah.
Get a good reamp box. If it's like a Squier, Telly, you screw it. Just you plug it right out of your outputs. But you need something to take the signal from your interface that's coming out generally at line level, and you need something that will match that impedance to what the amp is expecting to see, so you can actually, the amp basically sees a guitar and not a computer.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of reamp boxes out there. Radial makes one that I've used in the past. I forget what it's called. I think it's black. But Radial's DI stuff in general is awesome. I've got some Radial JDIs and the 48 volt ones. But yeah, look up some reamp boxes. Right. And then what you do with that is you plug that into the output of your interface, and plug that output into the input of the reamp box, output the high impedance output of the reamp box into your amp, mic the amp, record it. Just a big loop.
Yeah. Okay. Now I do have a question. I'm getting so I still haven't gotten the guitar from the distributor, the guitar and the amp. Waiting on it. I'm borrowing a guitar so I can actually do the Zen Mic Go or the Zen Go because I need to check out some of the amp modeling. So the one thing about the guitar is it's a Schecter, and I'm going to be replacing the pickups as soon as I get it. What pickups would you be looking at for? Now, I love the Alnico Pro 2s. That's one of my favorite pickups I've used off the Gibson Les Paul. What would you think is a decent pickup for something kind of a dirty blues?
Honestly, I've had so many arguments over the years with guitar players about, particularly, it's usually inexperienced guitar players that these arguments ensue, because guitar players that have fucked around with guitars enough generally know about this. But like, as far as things that you can change about your guitar that will make a big difference, pickups is not very high up on that list. Generally,
no.
Pickup location, and then you can start getting into tone wood and shit like that. But as far as the electronics go, pickup location on the strings sort of harmonic series path, and the design of pickup. So is it a dual coil, is it a humbucker, single coil, like lipstick, like the type of pickup rather than like the brand. The one thing though that I will say that you will get, especially if you're going to be recording high gain stuff, like stuff that's going through like 3 or 4 gain stages in your amp, is good pickups will give you great noise rejection. Yeah. Which is really good, especially, but if you're recording clean stuff, like if you're planning on doing a lot of like blues stuff with like one stage of lead, one stage of gain, you wouldn't benefit a ton from having, and again, there's some people that argue that, but there's a lot of good pickups out there. Like I see Midnight Wolf just mentioned Dean, prime example. I would recommend Dean pickups.
Not only, and this is a process I've been going through. Not only have I not played guitar, like over the past 3 weeks, I've been getting back into it, and my left and right hand are starting to talk again. I haven't done any work on a guitar for probably 20 years because my Gibson Les Paul I kept stock for everything, and I had no issue. It's freaking Gibson Les Paul. Who takes the pickups out of a bloody Gibson Les Paul? I don't want to hear about it.
Well, so I know somebody that took out like the P90 in the neck. The neck pickup,
okay, yeah, that's fair.
And replaced it with a single coil.
Oh. No,
and they didn't even put in like any kind of a shroud, so it was just sitting in this empty cavity with just it looked horrible. I just want, like they're trying to do like the 2-bit crackhead version of like what's that really experimental guitar player, Tom Morello? Yeah, they're trying to do like a really weird, like they're trying to like.
See, the P90 is not the best, but
it's not. But like again, I rarely, on a case of a Les Paul or any Gibson, and I've got 2 Gibsons that have P90s in them, and I never use the rhythm side. On my SG, I actually have occasionally, but usually it's either mixture of the two or it's the bridge pickup.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like the mixture of the two. I've used it before on a couple songs to take off some of the high end for the long story. That's years ago, but I never really relied on that for much. Anyways, I
was asking about the Mixcast.
Oh, okay. 1 second. I've got to go back here. Want to make a library of dry tracks, use those as masters for pedal reviews. Cool. Dean pickups. I'm going to look into that. Nut bridge saddles pickups, all a factor, then all in the hands. Indeed. I'm probably not going to be taking out the bridge saddles.
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of like everything cumulatively together, that word barely came out of my mouth. Everything cumulatively together will make a huge difference, but it's incremental. Like if you make this tiny little change, switch this out, make this little change, it's like you're not going to notice, but over time, like anything else, the effect compounds.
Yeah.
So you really have to make a lot of changes to a guitar to drastically change its sound.
Urshad, welcome to the stream. Tascam will be updating the firmware of the Mixcast 4s regularly like Rode. I know they have. And I think that all depends on market saturation. The more people that buy it, the more money they'll put into it.
How much money are they getting out of it? How much of all their products, because they're trying to spend development and R&D time on stuff.
Yeah.
So if that's not really selling anything.
And updates are R&D. That said, what do you need updated with it? Like,
I think you're more thinking maybe OSs and stuff, I would think.
Yeah, but what do you get out of that? Like, does it matter?
Well, you compatibility with Windows 11 for a start.
Oh, that will roll out. Like, there's no doubt about that.
It should. It should. But there are genuine concerns like that where it's like, okay, well, if you're buying something, you want to make sure that it's going to have some shelf life software-wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've got tons of digital hardware that physically would work fine. It's just over time, they're just going to stop giving a shit about the drivers.
I can't imagine Tascam wouldn't, because they're going full ham on that. And the idea of losing market share to something as stupid as an OS. And from what I hear, Windows 11 architecture isn't that much different for a lot of companies to write for than Windows 10 was. Like, it's different architecture, don't get me wrong, but it's not...
as far as drivers go, it's not very
you don't have to burn down the garage.
Right? If you're making an actual software suite, like a Avid or a Pro or a Adobe or any of that shit, then it's a bit of a lift because the whole interface with the CPU is completely redesigned. But if you're making a driver, there's not a ton of shit that's going to change.
No, and I don't think there's going to be a problem. Now, I could be wrong, but Tascam seems to be going pretty hard on the Mixcast 4 because they're seeing a lot of really good returns from it.
I saw an ad, actually, a YouTube ad for it, like this week.
Really?
Like they're actually circulating creative for it. I'm
if
like, what?
They're doing creative for it, and you know what I mean, they've got a great product. They should be happy with it. It definitely goes toe to toe, if not a little bit better than the Rodecaster Pro. So I would imagine so in the future. That said, sorry if they don't.
Oh, okay. So they're talking actually about like actual feature changes, not the compatibility stuff.
Oh, features! Like what features would change? I could see an update.
Look at the comments. Talk about pads.
One set of pads when recording to the SD card, for example. That stuff will end up rolling out. And when I talk to them about certain things, like with updating some of the effects and stuff like that, they said a lot of stuff was in progress. But I feel like this thing was so long, it took them so long to come to market with it because they had another podcast thing that they had released a few years earlier that it was named the wrong thing. They are working on stuff like that, but I don't think you're going to find anything massive from them when it comes to
nothing earth-shattering.
Well, no, because it's got everything that the Rode does.
Yeah, well, again, if there was anything earth-shattering, they would have caught it in beta, and they obviously didn't because it's released.
And on top of that, they're also going to be, like, if Rode has it, they're going to be getting it. Like, that's the competitive nature of this. You know, they obviously based it on the Rodecaster Pro. All right, Franken guitar, Schecter, very solid axes. I've never played one. It was my son's dream guitar, so I messaged him and told him that I'm getting it, and he's mad at me now. My mandolin is a single pickup, and I have to run a noise filter to reduce hum.
Oh, yeah, single coil is atrocious and it's unfortunate because I love the brightness of single coil in lots of situations, but it just, it's a love-hate relationship.
It's like rebuilding a car completely. Yes, it can be.
100%.
I'm not going to be going ridiculous on this. I would love to have a project guitar and kind of
get like I just saw somebody commented about like the Squier thing. I kind of want, like, I have a Squier bass. It was like my first ever bass. I never use it anymore, but like I kind of want to get like a Squier, like a Strat, and just screw with it. Well, and just know that if I really botch it, it's like, well, that's like a $150.
Well, that's what Jeff Healy did. Jeff Healy used Squier Strat with hand wound pickups that apparently cost $4,000.
As they do.
Gear Junkie Fenny said, Squire, my main is a 2013 vintage modified thinking semi-hollow with Tone Rider and Alnicos. Swapped out 3X back in stock. Lace Telly set is next. Ugh.
Yeah. See, that's the kind of thing. Like, get something that's solid enough to play, doesn't have atrocious playability, and just gut it. Just gut it.
Quebecer says, thanks, peeps. Now going to get those ads.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, program properties, though, like that is theoretically should work, although I have lots of apps that have been set to like Windows 7.
Yeah.
And on an actual Windows 7 machine run fine, but in Windows 10's kind of quasi Windows 7 environment, just shit the bed.
Yeah, well, I
actually had that happen with Java. I rolled back to an older version of Java because something got unstable with a other Java app, and like I said, like, oh, compatibility, run Windows 8.1 or whatever, and I was like, nope.
Yeah. No, Java. Why do you have Java on your computer?
Well, for one, Wide Orbit is Java.
Oh, well, that's why I have it on mine. I forgot you had Wide Orbit on your home computer.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm like, I have it on mine because of Wide Orbit.
Wide Orbit and then Minecraft, basically. that's like it.
Fair
That's
enough.
the only. Now, like, I've had buddies that are like, oh, just get the Bedrock edition. I'm like, no, because then all of the maps I've spent way too many sad hours making are all useless.
Midnight Wolf, on a side note, if you guys send snow, sleet, or rain to Indiana, can I return to sender? We haven't gotten any snow here where I am. I hear Winnipeg's just getting hammered.
Yep. Manitoba in general, like southern Manitoba, is just...
And I grew up 7 hours from Winnipeg. I grew up in Thunder Bay, Ontario, which is on the same weather belt as Winnipeg. So they always called Winnipeg Winterpeg, and they called Thunder Bay Little Winnipeg. And it literally -30 during the winter is average. There's nobody even bats an eyelash at that. Ottawa's a lot nicer. We just get a lot more snow.
You usually get, like, if what I get in London, like, usually a day and a half later it hits Ottawa. So, like,
yeah.
my folks use me as, like, their meteorologist. Like, they'll just call me up and be like, what's happening there right now? And I'll be like, it's pissing rain and there's hail the size of golf balls. They're like, fuck, all right, get the gazebo down. I'm like, it's hilarious.
Richard, good evening, boys. Glad to finally finish work and join you.
Good day.
You should compare modeling mics eventually, maybe Sphere. You know what? And that's...
You should get the Stephen Slate mic there. I forget what it is, but years ago he was going on, like, that guy's so full of himself, but he makes good shit, so I can't knock him for it. But, like, he had a whole slew of, like, I think a pencil and an LDC that could, like, model any mic that you wanted, basically. And they had, like, U67 profiles and U47 FET profiles.
That's
like,
what this has.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to compare them because I don't think there's a ton of people doing that.
I would love to be able to get a U87 AI and compare it to the U87 AI on here. This thing's got a C414. It's got all these profiles that I don't have the original mic to compare them to. I fear that's a little ways off, though. Like, I would love to compare modeling mics as well. I could loan you the L22. Nice.
I think they do that intentionally. They, like, model the most. Like, I saw one of the mics that Slate modeled was, like, the original C12.
Yeah.
And I was like, really?
How can you see?
Like,
how can you tell?
No, yeah, they model the most expensive, rarest shit so that nobody can compare it.
Well, that's the thing with this microphone and this interface. I'm going to be doing my first musical, like, mostly just for the DI. For the guitar and stuff. Going to be testing that out. I'm going to use the mic with the acoustic, and I'm going to use a few profiles with it, but I have no idea if the U87 sounds anything like the U87 in here. Like, how can I tell? I don't have the two mics side by side. And without the mics side by side, I don't care if you've ever used a U87. If you don't have it to directly compare, there's no way to tell.
No, I mean, you could do a preliminary, just a test for shits for yourself, and just, like, because you have recorded your voice through U87, so you could, like, AB.
Oh
that
yeah,
in
I
your
can put the
headphones
AB on that, and I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be.
It's not the most scientific test, but if there is a big difference, it should be pretty obvious.
The testing on this is gonna take me forever, though, because of everything that's involved. The one thing I've still got to get over is the interface. The ZenGo does not actually work with my laptop. For some reason, it works with my desktop, but it does not with the laptop. And that's going to be something, that's going to be a phone call to their customer support to see whether or not their customer support sucks. Because that's what I've heard. People have said Antelope Audio's customer support is garbage.
Really? Yes, that did come up last week where somebody was asking about that.
Well, now I got a reason to call. And that's what I
Good.
kind of look for that every time I have something like this, like just to see if I can, a reason to call them and bug them and give them something annoying to do, right? Like the fact that the drivers aren't even recognized with Windows on my laptop. And I don't know if that's because of, well, both computers are Ryzen. This is last gen Ryzen.
It shouldn't be. Ryzen's x86 architecture, so it
Yeah.
shouldn't be. There shouldn't be a problem there. That's something sketchy's going on there. I don't know.
Well, but that's the thing. Is it?
Did you? I'm assuming you tried going on their actual site and downloading a driver,
Yeah, absolutely.
and it still doesn't work.
Well, and this is the frustrating thing about this. Whenever you have stuff like this, the Apollos like this, everything is based in software, but it's software that is linked to the company. So you have to go onto a cloud. You have to download everything from the cloud. You can only use the interface if the program's open.
You know what I hate? You know what I really don't like? Just on that note, that I really don't like about companies and software these days when it comes to audio companies is that every fucking company has their own portal now. Like everybody. I got now, not only do I have to install the apps, but like on in the new build that I've been working on, I've got an Isotope. I've got an Isotope portal. I've got an SSL portal. I've got a Native Instruments portal. I've got a Waves portal.
Right.
Like an IK multimedia portal. Like I'm like, can we just stop with the portal thing?
Well, the worst part about this portal is you have to have it open while you're using the interface. So and of
What's
course,
the interface called? Is the interface called ZenGo?
Yeah, ZenGo, Antelope Audio ZenGo, and I've got the ZenGo bundle, whatever it's called, which
looking
is
up
a limited
specs.
time option.
I'm just seeing what they advertise it as having supported because I'm genuinely curious now. This is weird.
Intel does seem to be more optimized for audio. That said, with the multitasking ability of the 5000 series Ryzen, it's hard to argue with that. CPU extension.
Intel's Windows 11 little project is throwing that out the window. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Are you looking up the ZenGo?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the spec sheet here.
It's actually really nice. Like, it's a decent unit. It does go toe-to-toe on most things with my Arturia audio fuse. On a few things, it falls a little short. Like, this is a pretty noisy mic. I think it's got a noise floor of 19 dB.
See, I'm looking at it, and there's like I'm seeing a red flag right away. So on compatibility, it says OS compatibility with ZenGo Synergy Core. And then for OS compatibility, it just says Mac OS, Windows.
Yeah.
No versions.
No.
No versions or architecture.
Well,
just
I mean,
Mac OS,
all
Windows.
the versions prior to 10 have been discontinued by Intel. So support would be out the window regardless for anything before 10. 8's not supported anymore, is it? They're not doing updates for 8 anymore, right?
Windows, I don't think is.
No, that's what I said. But once Windows drops
Microsoft,
support,
I mean.
everything else does. Like,
Generally,
yeah. Like it's so when they say Windows, they probably released that when Windows 10 was supposed to be the last ever OS that we needed, right?
Yeah, but they like most manufacturers, and by most I mean like pretty much every product that I've seen that's a serious product lists like like Windows, 7, 8, 10, whatever, 11. They don't just say Windows.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit. Even if it is like, well, it should be obvious. It's the latest version. It's like, well, nah.
Urshad brings up an interesting point. This is something I would like to talk about because, okay. Here's another thing that should change about the Mixcast 4. The talkback button should work with all the other outputs besides channels 1 to 4. Routing is one of those elite things that you get with a nice interface. Routing is not gonna end up on a cheaper interface anytime soon.
Routing is 100%. Routing is a thing that is a premium feature.
Yeah, premium feature. Thank you.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
There's no, it shouldn't be. But at the same time, and this is one of the things I'm running into with the ZenGo, because it's it's kind of an intro to premium, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk about when it comes to consumer, prosumer, and pro equipment. The prosumer section of audio equipment is a sliding scale. So something can be closer to pro than consumer, but still be in the prosumer department. That's
It's a spectrum.
Yeah, thank you. And that's what the Zen Go is. It allows routing. So you have routing with this unit, which is kind of cool, but then it also takes the learning curve because pro equipment isn't set up for idiocy.
Yeah. It's not designed for inexperienced users.
So it's once you get into the pro, there's another learning curve that you need to get into.
You got to know what you're doing. It's kind of like I was showing when I told you about. Actually, while we're talking, you should go and just Google Orion 32 Plus software and just look at a picture. Look at a picture of the routing software and you want to talk about learning curve? That's a learning curve.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that. I'm used to routing programs, so I'm okay.
Yeah, it's not complicated. I mean, looking at that to me just looks like the routing matrix in Pro Tools.
Yeah, routing's not that big of a deal.
It's true that you sacrifice, in order to have flexibility, you sacrifice simplicity. In order to have simplicity, you sacrifice flexibility.
Yep.
That's how equipment works. It's never going to change. This is one of the reasons, Macs, really easy to use. Not as customizable as PCs in many cases because they're so easy to use.
And that's the thing with a lot of stuff that I see people talking about. They're like, well, why can't I route? Why can't I do this? Well, routing is not only a premium feature, but it's also not an easy concept to get behind. When you're talking about main bus, different buses, actually, even if you had bus control, I've worked in radio, and having to explain buses to people that don't understand buses.
I always have described it whenever I'm teaching people engineering. I always describe buses as wires inside the equipment, like cables. Cable interconnects inside the gear because that's basically what it is. Buses, even in the context of I had an argument with one broadcast engineer recently who said that buses they're only digital, they only exist in software. It's like, hello, fuckhead. I've got a board right beside me here that has 8 buses on it. Shut up.
Well, and that's the thing. For me, it's always been, if the light's on, that means that audio is being sent to that thing. Well, what's that thing? That thing is that computer over there. And it's always just this.
I think of bus almost like a road. Like if you've got 8 buses, you have an 8-lane highway. Yeah. If you have 8 buses, you have an 8-lane highway. Different shit can go down each of those lanes. You can control them independent of each other. Buses are super useful. I don't know what I would do if I had a audio software or a console that didn't have busing.
Well, and that's the thing. The funny thing about it is, despite all of my experience, every once in a while I'll look at a board and go, why am I not getting sound to my headphones?
Oh, yeah. And I have that.
You got to walk through and you've got to be like, okay, so that audio is going from there. It's going to there.
It's especially painful if you've got, my board has mute lights and solo in place SIP lights. That's it. None of the buses have, so you've got to kind of look at it and go, which one of those buttons is pressed in?
Or which one's not pressed?
Yeah, well, I had it once where there was an old Audient ASP8024 console that I used to work on in a studio. It had 24 buses. So, and the routing matrix, which is the technical name for the area where you select what buses it's going to, was not on the, so if you've ever seen, and I'm sure everybody's probably seen, a large format Pro Studio desk has the surface, as it's called, and then the bridge. So usually it's shaped like a hockey stick, kind of. Yeah. Where you've got the meter bridge at the top. And in this case, for some stupid reason, Audient, love you, Audient, but why did you put the routing matrix on the meter bridge? 6 feet away from the operator.
Oh, God.
That makes no sense. So you're looking, and they're all push buttons. There's 24 individual push buttons. And you're like, oh, no.
Midnight Wolf, my old Haswell i7 laptop on Windows 8.1 works better for a lot of DJ stuff I do than my newer Ryzen 9 4900HS.
Haswell. And that's, I'm running on Haswell right now. That's a throwback.
This is the Ryzen 7. This is the 4000 series. It's not the 4900HS. This is the 4800, I think. that this laptop is. And yeah, there's something about the architecture, especially on laptop, that just because the stupid Zen Go works with my desktop. My desktop's a 3700X.
Oh, I thought you were saying it doesn't. I thought you were saying it didn't work with either.
No, it works with my desktop, which is 3700X. That was the last generation before.
Could it be the PCH on your laptop? Could it be the actual platform controller hub screwing with?
You know what? That is possible, but also here's the bloody thing about this. So it's 2.0, right? It's HDMI or not HDMI.
USB.
It's USB 2.0, but it's also you can do Thunderbolt with it.
Fancy.
So, and I know neither my laptop nor my desktop has Thunderbolt. I'm gonna get a Thunderbolt card for my desktop.
Thunderbolt what? Thunderbolt 4?
No, this is Thunderbolt 3. But
so the port looks like the port's not a USB-C port. It's because Thunderbolt 4 is over USB-C. Or does it look like a mini, like a super tiny?
It must be Thunderbolt 4 then, because it's a USB-C.
Well, they're backwards compatible, but generally, like, you know, I've got a motherboard that obviously the one I just bought had 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports on it. They're both so it's probably Thunderbolt 4. It's backwards compatible.
It's a decent unit. Phrasing. Yeah. Sorry.
I love Bandra just comes out of the shadows when we least expect.
Yeah,
that's great.
Pop in. Oh, so now that Bandra's here, I actually talked to Bandra about this a little bit earlier this week. I got the best worst comment I've ever had on this channel. And like part of me over the past few weeks, my growth is starting to etch up a bit again. And I notice whenever that happens, I do get a lot of negativity that just kind of trickles in as well. So I might actually be off comments eventually because 1, it's hard to keep up. 2, I might just like, if I see a comment from somebody I know that comes to the live and stuff like that, I might, but I think I might be off comments. Anyways, this comment was on my last video and it said, "You're copying podcastage, find your own style." At which point, my question is, because the only thing I was doing was reviewing a microphone. With a microphone, you do tests on the microphone. And
this is funny because literally last week, didn't somebody also shit on you because they were saying that you were, or oh no, that was somebody that was saying that you were not credible and was saying, what's his face? They were going to wait for what's his face, forget his name.
Yeah.
Julian.
And like for me, if I watch a lot of computer tech, Linus Tech Tips,
a lot of it covers the same content.
But that's the thing. There's only so many ways you can review a microphone. So my question is, what tests can I get that separate me from Bandrew? I was thinking something of a wall smack test. So if I can put it on the end of an XLR, smack it off a concrete wall, and it still works, it passes. If it doesn't, I send it back to the company. Sorry, it didn't pass the wall test. The wall smack test.
You might want to let them know you're going to do that before you make the deal for them to send you the microphone to borrow.
Oh, Ms. Ravioli, I'll always answer your comments. Don't worry. You're safe. But yeah, no, I think maybe this is a good idea. Maybe a crocodile chew test for a microphone. That's a good idea. Give it a couple chomps on the mic. If the mic still works, that's a pass. See, I need to separate myself from Bandrew here.
I haven't eaten today, and now I'm craving ravioli.
Mr. Ravioli, he means that in the food.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking about food.
Yeah.
Talking about noodles.
No. This channel doesn't need a Me Too moment, man. Come on. No, and it's funny because I talked to Bandrew about it, and it's like, if I look at my channel.
Yeah, you keep. I need food. Like I literally need food.
If I look at the two channels, we're completely different. Despite the fact that we review some of the same things. However, I think I might just start dressing up as Bandrew while I'm doing the guitar stuff. So we'll see how that works out. Good artists borrow, great artists steal. So true. But it's also like when you're watching something like Linus Tech Tips and they're building a PC, and then you go over to Hardware Canucks and they're building a PC, and then you go over to Bitwit and he's building a PC. I'm going to start going to those channels and telling them that they're ripping Linus Tech Tips off.
Well, let's be honest. Most
guys
people are ripping Linus Tech
Well,
off.
no. Actually, you know what? I got to say, in the PC sphere, everyone is very well seated in the niche. Like, I don't like Roby Tech.
Everybody has a place.
Roby Tech is one of the new guys, and because I view those channels as being personality based, right? So for me, every tech channel, the difference is the personality, and yeah, that I think that works well. However, all this aside, still my favorite worst comment ever. Like by a long shot. It's up there. So if you can think of any really stupid tests that I can do with the microphones, I like the wall smack test. I do like that.
It is funny.
Also Neat Mics, they took a snippet of my video of the what do they call it? That tall mic, the Skyline. It's the Skyline. They took a snippet of this video. This is the one where I wanted to do a guitar test on it. And they reposted it, and they said that they think the guitar test would be kind of cool. So
It would be. Oh, I got one.
oh,
Do like a Doppler test. Like hang the mic, hang the mic from the ceiling and like swing it back and forth and just go. Ah! See how it sounds. See how
this is
see how
the
Doppler.
Doppler test of the microphone. If this is
Zero relevance or scientific usefulness.
well, I did the knockover test with the Skyline, where I just sat there poking at the microphone until it fell over. That I could do like a knockover test for the microphones.
Yeah.
I like it. Quoting Steve Jobs stealing a Van Gogh quote. Great artist, Borrow. Great artist. Yeah. Dan, hey guys, how come last week's live stream got deleted? I didn't get a chance to see any comments.
Did it get deleted?
I got into a really bad mood during that stream, and I think I was really irritated with a lot of the conversation surrounding comments and stuff like that. And this is why one of the reasons I talk about kind of stepping away from comments and a lot is I plan on growing as a channel. However,
You do?
yeah. However, if my mental health becomes at stake from a lot of the comments, and that's something that I'm keenly aware of, I'm actually pretty introspective when it comes to that kind of crap. If that ever becomes a problem where I find myself wanting to vent on a bloody live stream about somebody's shitty comment about the channel or this, that, or the other thing, that's when I need to take a step back and go, okay, why the fuck am I taking up time talking on a live stream about some douchebag?
I mean, like, and you're not alone in that too. I mean, like we just talked about it like just one-on-one like a week or so ago.
Yeah.
About, like how many YouTubers are dropping left, right, and center because they can't handle the bullshit.
Oh, and
it's like it's not even like you're weak. It's like nope. It's a real pain in the ass.
Podcast has stopped copying me. No, I'm totally gonna like.
Bandra,
you know what?
When you're that good at what you do, Bandra, you better get used. People are gonna take your ideas. That's just how life is.
Do you wear a toque, Bandrew? It's I'm pretty sure I gotta find some sort of something to put over. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm also gonna find out exactly what type of glasses you wear. I won't copy your content. I'm gonna basically remake that room in this house. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
It's the exact same room. Everything in the background.
There's a lot of shit in there.
I know
it's
it's gonna take me some time, but I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna have to work at it.
Yeah, no, and you know what? I can keep it pretty light. I don't actually. When I'm getting upset, I don't usually show a lot of emotion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I agree with Dan. Like, I didn't really interpret it. I mean, it was definitely like it definitely felt like venting, but it didn't feel like I'm an inch away from like slitting my wrist venting or anything like that.
But it also comes down to venting about stuff. Like I talk about the comment this week about copying Bandrew, and that's a joke. Like I found that funny. But when it starts to become something where I'm getting frustrated or it's occupying enough of my thought where I come on a live stream and that's what I want to talk about because it kind of pissed me off, and I'm like, fuck that guy. Not really what I want, and not really what I'm aiming for.
I think initially the angle started out good in the sense that, like, because there's obviously a lot of people here other than Bandra, obviously, that are not YouTubers and that don't see a lot of that side of the shit. So it's like a perspective kind of piece.
Yeah.
More, but then quickly it did sort of devolve into more of shit talking about people that make shitty comments.
And that's the thing. And I also called the dude out by name, which why it wasn't.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
That I do remember because I was like, oh shit, we're name dropping.
I mean, that's where I kind of had to go, all right. And now I'm just being a dick because that person was a dick to me. Not what I want to be. So that was why I did that. Also kind of why, like, I've been taking stock of, don't get me wrong. I love everyone that's been, that I talk to, anybody that's here. Thank you for being a part of this. And part of the reason I love growing a YouTube channel is the interaction, is being able to talk. And I think that's where I'm going to be kind of focusing a lot on when it comes to, I'm not going to be dismissing comments, all of them, but what I will be doing is if I see something negative, it's just being hidden from my view. I'm not going to look at that crap. I don't need to see it. And I will continue to be interactive, because if I can't be interactive with this shit, then it becomes it's a job. And that's not really what I want it to be. That's why we do the live stream. Once again, we make $0 on this. So
not totally.
Well, not totally, but
there's been a little bit here.
By no means is it one of those things where we're like, gosh darn it, man, we're pulling in bank. No, it's this.
No.
This is the reason.
The work to pay ratio with a YouTube channel, as with any kind of content creation, is shit.
Well, especially live streaming. Like Linus Tech Tips, I remember him talking about it about 2 years ago, where they didn't make anything on their live streams. They would make like $100, $200, but for a company that doesn't make any
But even
money.
like, I work, as you do in a sense, but like I work for corporate. I work for one of Canada's largest telecoms. And to do my job, which often takes like 50 hours a week, if not more of my time, I get paid $10 less an hour than a virtual assistant gets paid. Virtual assistants make $36 an hour on average.
Damn.
I'm making less than, more than $10 less than that, I should say.
That is.
And content creation, it doesn't pay well unless you happen to, like, I don't know, hit the big time and ride it up, ride it to the top.
If you sell yourself, you can make yourself like.
Oh yeah, if you're good at marketing. Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. If you're a marketing person.
If you don't mind asking for things. Everything everything I've gotten over the past 6 months especially has even surprised me, by the way. This ain't a brag. Has been asked for. I've asked for everything. I've flat out, hey, can I have that? Are you using that right now?
A lot of people overthink it, and I think you're just in fuck it. Like, what do you have to lose?
Well,
what
yeah.
are they gonna say? No.
Well, and that's the thing. Like when I reached out to Jam Industries, that's the company that I'm partnered with now. I actually reached out to them to get a hold of the Minifuse, and he messaged me back going, actually, you know what? We're looking for people to partner with. Do you want to have a partnership? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, sign me up. But it's like a lot of people that either can't stomach, but I think it's, again, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Someone's going to say no.
Yeah,
okay,
well,
move on.
I'm sure Zoom especially, I'm pretty sure Zoom is sick of hearing from me. I'm pretty sure, like, Rode is sick of hearing from me. Sure won't even return my call.
Thank you for the clarity, Miss Ravioli, because I was staring at that half comment going, I'm so puzzled right now. The goal is
let me go back a little bit. Yeah, I didn't come away thinking you vented too much or anything. I didn't remember that. It's all good. Bandrew, the idea that people are copying me is ridiculous. My tests were all developed based on what people demanded in the comments. If they're useful tests, other people should do them. Yeah, that's the thing about microphone testing is for me, once again, the two channels are separated by personality. And that, always should be enough.
Always,
just
yeah.
Well,
that's literally like, it's kind of like, how many people have written a song with the word button in it?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're copying me. You had a song with the word button. It's like, fuck off. No. Like, doesn't make any sense.
But it's also like there's things that, Neat sent me this. Bandrew's like, no.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Bandrew's like, I'm not testing that. I'm like, yeah, why not? I'll have a little bit of fun with it. And I want to come up when I get, and I don't want to say stupid mics. This isn't a stupid mic. It's actually a decent mic for what it is.
Quirky mics.
Well, I want to find some really fun, stupid things to do with them. Like I did the knockover test. I want to find some other things that I can do with them to,
Doppler test.
Doppler test, stuff like that. So that's also, again, what separates. So I think it's like there's no real conversation around that. Anybody that feels that way, okay. Kind of a weird comment to leave.
It is a weird one.
Midnight Wolf just blamed me. I mentioned people saying that in the comments and it blossomed from there. Did you say that? Nice. I forget I think it was Liberty Dude. I had an 11-year-old troll. I actually went and looked at his profile. I ended up chatting with him afterwards because he came out and like, this dude is old. He doesn't even know how to review stuff. Don't listen to him. And at first I was like, fuck you, I'm old. Bite me, you little prick.
Keyboard warrior, fucking.
So I went and I looked at his profile and watched a couple of his videos, and you could tell testosterone wasn't part of his diet yet. Like I think that's the best way to put it. So instantly I was like, okay, I'm not gonna like destroy this kid. So I just said, hey buddy, relax, go away, have fun. And then somebody, I think it was Liberty Dude, I'm not sure, but somebody basically went, hey buddy, I'm the troll around here. Go back to your corner and come back when your balls drop. It ended up getting held back by YouTube, and I kept it held back for review just because I didn't want to like
decimate this guy.
Poor little fella probably had no idea what was coming to him. It was awesome though, and it's also cool to see it's also cool to see other people in the community kind of regulating that stuff as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like looking at stuff like Reddit threads and stuff, like you kind of rely on that at a certain point.
Yeah.
To have like little like would-be moderators kind of going in and helping out.
Started this channel posting on Reddit, and I don't post on Reddit anymore. No, thank you. No, I don't need that kind of. If I can't handle a shitty YouTube comment, I am not going to be able to handle Reddit too well.
Go on Reddit.
No, we're good.
Reddit's a cesspool for that shit.
Ms. Ravioli, the goal is to acquire trolls and haters. That's how
100%.
you gauge whether or not you've made it.
100%. Absolutely.
And it's fascinating too because I work in morning show. And when you're a morning show, people either love you or hate you. There's no in between.
Nope.
And I can take radio hate, and I'll actually take your letter that you wrote to me and post it on my wall. I live for that stuff on the radio. Because that's my job on the radio is to be an idiot and make fart jokes. And if you didn't like my fart joke last week, well, you're the idiot. I don't know why it's different on YouTube. It just is, and I haven't found that wall to separate myself from it.
Well, I think because your YouTube channel is less satirical, so there's not this straw man that you can sort of direct shit toward. Like on the air, you play a character. You play a caricature of your like weirdest qualities, basically, when you're on the air. So if somebody attacks that, they're not attacking you. They're attacking this decoy of a person that you've constructed. So it's not. Whereas on YouTube, you're being authentic. So if somebody shits on you on YouTube, it's pointed at you.
That's an interesting perspective to take because that's the one thing that
that's always how I've done it, and only because I've always been a really sensitive person. So like when I was in high school, one of the things that I used to do was I used to just be a whacked out. I mean, I'm still a whacked out idiot, but I used to like go out of my way specifically so that people like made fun of me. It would just be water off because it's like I know deep down that's not who I am.
I was the jock in high school. People didn't make fun of me.
Yeah. You're in that crowd.
Well, I wouldn't. No, not necessarily. I wasn't cool, but I wasn't.
Nobody's gonna fuck with you.
No, and I was also. Anyways, was
that
love
in
you all. What's that?
Was that in T-Bay? When you were in high school, Thunder Bay?
Yeah, Thunder Bay, which is unique conversation all in itself. Thanks, guys, for joining. I do have to say, I do have an appointment here at 6:30. Red Cabin, don't worry. It's not a matter of listening to it. It's a matter of, before I go, I'll say this. When you're a musician and you sit up there and you sit in front of a crowd, or maybe you're a comedian and you get up in front of a crowd and you put your content out there and that the crowd laughs, or you get a heckler or something like that, there's a certain skill set that stops you from letting that hit you. So when you're a musician and you got somebody that doesn't like your music, whatever. Not all music's for everyone, right? There's a skill set and something on your path of learning that teaches you how to cope with that. I haven't quite found it with YouTube yet because it's kind of the same thing. You create content, you create a piece of work, you put it out there, and whether it's funny, whether it's informative, no matter what it is, there is going to be someone that dislikes it.
Yeah, like a marketer once told me that statistically 40% of the people that you meet in your life, no matter what you do, at least 40% of the people you meet will not like you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And that's not just like that's people in general. Like that could be somebody on the bus that just didn't like your face. But like collectively, everyone that you cross paths with, 40% of those people will not like you.
That's fascinating. Oh no, yeah. And I can pick some of them out.
Me too. Some of them are here right now.
Yeah, not since I haven't liked you since I met you, you little bastard.
You fucker. Yeah.
No, and it's one of those. It's one of those. When I do a video up and I have a doubt about something in that video, or I have a doubt about did I do enough for that video, or my camera skills suck when I'm doing B-roll or something like that. Like there's always something that you're hyper focused on as a fault. And when somebody starts finding other things, or maybe they hit on the nail on the head, like your B-roll sucks, you're like, oh, fuck, I know it does.
Yeah, nailed it.
Right?
Yeah.
Or they point out something else where you're like, oh shit, do I have to be worried about that? Is my personality that bad? Am I really fat? Yeah. So these are the things. No, I'm kidding about the last one. I know I'm jacked and hot. Those are the things that can actually start to like tear away a little bit at a time. And that's
and again, it's one comment is fine, but it's there's the hammering.
Yeah,
over.
And the way the ebb and flow of YouTube is there'll be like 2 days in a row I won't get like hardly any comments flowing through. And then all of a sudden I'll get like 75 notifications in my morning show during my morning show while I'm sitting there. So it's it's a fun little ebb and flow process, and it's all good. I'm not too worried about it. And it's not a matter of listening to them or thinking they're right. It's a matter of learning how to get that water off the duck's back.
There you go.
Just look at the opening movie, Private Parts. Howard Stern was very awkward on stage, but on radio, completely different. Yeah,
that's a great movie.
Oh, that's a great movie. I've watched it several times. I love that movie.
Same.
You feel like this work is more you and it's being judged. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I do the me plus 10% on this channel, which is most media, but I'm not the stupid goof. Like I've done a couple videos, my shorts, the ones where I'm actually trying to be funny. That's
super cardioid.
Super cardioid a little bit, but the one with the USB to XLR mic. If you haven't seen that short, the USB to XLR mic, go watch that. That's my personality on radio. I'm a goofball. I'm an idiot. The jokes are pretty lowball. Yeah, like
low hanging fruit.
Low hanging fruits, and I go for more like, I become a different personality. And but this stuff is just me plus 10%. So when I'm talking, it's a little more animated, a little more upbeat. Yeah,
because you're an entertainer and you have to make it. And that usually by default, like when I'm standing there making dinner, I'm not generally very entertaining. So it's like, okay, take that, add 10%. It's like, okay, now it's a little quirky.
Yeah. Today we're going to be making some craft dinner.
I mean, that said, I do have hilarious banter with myself when I'm doing various monotonous things.
I'm sure it's delightful. And I'm sure your mother would probably find it hilarious.
Horribly offensive.
Yeah, horribly offensive is probably accurate. Urshad, I'm going to actually wrap up with this because this is actually a perfect way to wrap it up. Urshad says, just do you. You do you so well. For the same mic review, I'll watch Bandrew and yours and always find unique perspectives from both. Keep it up. And that's it. Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining. I'm going to go to my appointment now. Have yourselves a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Ciao, ciao.